Thank you so much, Dr. Escamilla. What a pleasure to be with you all this morning. I haven't shook hands because I'm just a tiny bit under the weather. So it always happens around this time of year, the winds, et cetera. I think it's allergies, but I'm slowly getting over it. Let me thank our media and IT folks for the great work that they've done throughout. This is the fourth one, have a couple left. So I'm getting better. So you all are in the middle of this. I'm getting better at this as I go through it. I can't thank Belle enough for the great work that she's done on the presentation, our staff, Leslie, others that are here helping with snacks, et cetera. And they even brought a small tray for me because I dropped my coffee yesterday at Northwest. So again, let me jump right in. And again, thank you all for the great work that you do. My time is your time. So I really appreciate the very gracious introduction, but my time is the staff's time, my time is the students' time, my time is this community's time. And so I certainly appreciate the opportunity to share some of the incredible work that you all are leading. I want to start with and jump right in with Dr. Amaya and the great work that he and his team are doing with regards to student enrollment services and jumping right into our signature event on ensuring that our community knows about the institution, that our high school seniors realize we're not going to give them an excuse. We're going to go to them while they're there. We're going to close the deal while they're still in high school. And so this is a signature event that we have. It started in March at Harmony. We're going to recruit everyone. Charter schools, et cetera, we're going to recruit them. We're going to try to encourage them to enroll in higher ed. The data is overwhelming. 72% of all jobs by 2031 will require some post-secondary education or training. And so we want to be able to facilitate this going all the way through May the 3rd, and that's Tejano Day. That's going to be at the Trans Mountain campus this time. I'm going to touch on that a bit more. In addition, Dr. Maya and his team continue to work really hard on ensuring that our seniors go forward and utilize Apply Texas to apply for higher education. In the state of Texas, any public institution can utilize Apply Texas. So it's not us just recruiting for us, although that's a primary objective, but it's us for recruiting for higher ed, period, trying to get them enrolled. As you can see, we had over 8,000 applications by October. We were up to 9,000 by December. Then the holidays and students are like everyone else. We had about 65 between December 3rd and January 9th, but we've now seen it pick up once again to over 9,700 applications. I'd remind everyone we have about 12,000 seniors in Region 19. So we're doing extremely well, and we're going to continue to work on that and continue to move that forward. We need to ensure that our ISD partners, that they take advantage of dual credit and early college and high school opportunities. And the EPCC Roundup held on the 27th of January was a real opportunity for them to take advantage of those areas and to ensure that they have that opportunity to enroll. In addition, high school counselors are incredibly important. They have access to the student body on a regular basis. We want to make sure that they're providing that student body with accurate information and that they know about the institution. I shared, this is my 31st year in higher ed. The time goes by really fast. Many of our counselors are longer in the tooth, as I am. And so we want to make sure they know and they're aware of all the incredible programming, all the incredible programs that the institution has to offer, all the investment that we've made in developing new programs and developing new buildings, et cetera. And so we want to make sure this provided, we had 40 presenters, 88 exhibitors, 460 counselors, as well as 40 staff. And we didn't do it alone. We did it in cooperation with UTEP as well. But we need to make sure that they're aware of the college and the incredible programs that we have to offer. During the pandemic, we saw a real shift in enrollment. Where the career technical education programs continued to rise during the pandemic, while academic transfer programs, we saw some enrollment decreases. The good news is we're seeing those come back, but we're continuing to see our CTE programs, demand for those continue to increase. So here's a health CTE as well as STEM event that we held. In addition, we're doing program-specific recruitment activities. And so we did an activity for nursing. And again, nursing's a program that we probably don't have to advertise at all. We're still going to do that so the community understands, and I'll share more about nursing as I go through this presentation, but so they understand the great programs that we have. Again, I mentioned Tejano Day. That's going to be on May the 3rd. Last year it was on May the 4th, or May the 4th be with you. We had a Star Wars theme. It was great. It was at the Mission del Paso campus. I made sure that I went with my oldest. In addition, we're going to have it at the Trans Mountain. Dr. Maya and his team rotate these events, so we're going to get to each of the respective campuses as time goes forward. But we're certainly excited about this opportunity. And again, it's an opportunity, the students that start the process during College Bound but don't quite finish it, that we're able to get them back in and help them finish that prior to summer as well as the fall term. You know, we have a lot of services for our students. We need to ensure that they know about the resources available to them. The Texas Pathway Action Plan, part of it was to ensure that students knew about a lot of the services, from parent resources to the Tejano Mercado to EPCC Cares. These are events that really ensured, and trying to advertise these, trying to ensure that our students know about them. You can see the results. Still not where we want to be, but we're getting much better. Students were unaware of the food pantry in 23. About 80% of our students were unaware. We were able to drop that down to about 67%. We're going to continue to advertise these. We're going to continue to ensure that students are aware of these. Some of the Valle Verde specific events, obviously we had the Fall Festival. That was on the 30th of October. We had a QEP, Back to School Club Fair. We had breast cancer awareness. We had a chillax before finals. You know, we have to make sure that we're moving forward with the lingo of our students. Sounds like one of my sons saying that. We also had Welcome Week. So we have campus-specific initiatives, again, to ensure that our students take advantage of the services, utilize everything that's available to them, all in an effort to facilitate their success. We will continue to move forward with that. Let me talk about student government. Really proud of our Student Government Association and the great work that they do. They really do an incredible job of representing their constituents, ensuring that those voices are heard, ensuring that they have that opportunity to speak on behalf of students. They were in DC October 10th through the 14th for the national conference. They were also in Austin on February the 3rd. We're in the midst of a legislative session. I'm going to share some of that data at the end of the presentation with you all so that you're aware, very transparent of what's going on in Austin. There's some really good bills. There's some concerning bills from my perspective, purely my perspective, but we want to make sure that our students are there. I had the opportunity to testify. I thought I was done. I chaired the organization in 2023, but I got invited to testify in front of House Higher Education Committee this past month and went forward and testified. And so Commissioner Rosser was on my left. I testified. We had Ray Martinez, the president and CEO of the organization, next to me. And then we had a gentleman from Texas 2036. We presented our testimony. The legislature had no questions. And then they had a student testify. And I can tell you that there was 6, 7 questions from the legislatures for the students. That's how important it is for our students to have their voices heard. That's who the legislature wants to hear from. It's my responsibility, and I'll continue to provide information to our legislators, but it shows you how important the student voice is when all the questions went to the student. The Tejano Mercado, this is an incredible initiative that we're going to continue to work on. We're working hard to deal with student hunger. It's changed. Our attitudes towards this has changed. I've shared with you all I lost 15 pounds my first semester in college because I forgot to budget for food. And I wasn't going to call home for additional resources. But we've learned a whole lot. And Sarah Goldrick-Rabb, among others, has taught us that it's very difficult to learn when you're hungry. And so we want to ensure that our students have that opportunity, that they're able to utilize the services that we have available to them. I'll share with you, it's become a challenge to maintain, to keep it stocked. And so I've made a recommendation to the board to utilize our Student Success Endowment Fund. That's the $30 million that Mackenzie Scott gifted to the institution. We've invested that money. We're utilizing the residue. 90% of that goes to scholarships. 10% or 9% of that is for emergencies. What I've asked the board is to consider utilizing 1% of that emergency to help stock the Tejano Mercado. What's more emergency than needing food? And so currently that would be about $30,000. That would help us stock the mercado significantly. So we're going to continue to work hard at this, but I can't thank Dr. Maya and all the team on the great work that they do with that. Our women's cross country and half marathon, want to share information with them. Their first time in athletic academic history that every single one of our athletes has incredible GPAs, as you can see. And so we want to make sure that we continue to advocate. I don't see our athletic director, Coach Hinojosa, but they continue to do great work in focusing on student athletes, being champions on the track and field as well as in the classroom. So certainly excited about that. I am thrilled. This is the 30th anniversary of our baseball program. They are 28-10. They're having a heck of a season. I see some of you out there. I see one of my baseball colleagues, a couple of you all, and I see some hats in the audience as well. Really proud of the great work that they're doing. They're 28-10 now. Their upcoming games are on the 25th and 26th. It's warmer now. Several of us are out there when it was pretty chilly. But it's warmer now. It's a great time to be able to see them and to see them really compete and do great work. A lot of enthusiasm. Cannot thank Coach Hussey and his team for the great work that they do. Our softball team is just as competitive. They're having a great season as well. They are currently 15-13. They have a winning record in conference as well. So certainly excited about them. They're also going to be here on the 25th and 26th. So if you have the opportunity, the venue is incredible. Our venues are first class, so please try to get out there. The food trucks are out there as well, so enjoy it. I want to recognize Coach Hinojosa for the great work. He was Coach of the Year, U.S. Track and Field and Cross Country Coaches Association, as well as the NCAA Division Cross Country Men's Coach of the Year. He does a great job and has done a great job for a long period of time for our students, for our community, for our college. And so want to recognize him. When you all see him, make sure you let him know that we had a picture of him without sunglasses. Yeah. I want to talk a little bit about the great work that Dr. Smith and his team continue to lead in instruction and workforce education. I'll start with Josh Villalobos and Mission del Paso campus. We continue to see great strides and great results from the 8-week semester. They're about 85% of their coursework is offered now in 8-week terms. We continue to see enrollment increase, pretty significant enrollment increases, as well as success increases. And so kudos to them, excited about the great work. They continue to do that, and we're going to continue to move forward and invest in this particular program. Dr. Escamilla was very gracious in her induction. I cannot thank her enough. She led the establishment of our engineering academy in partnership with UTEP. Want to congratulate her and all of the committee that worked on this diligently. We kicked it off in October of 24. We had 11 of the 12 students that were successful in their first semester in engineering. Let me remind everyone, as a former wannabe engineer, you have to be calculus ready. You know, I mean, I know that college algebra is the course that we think of with mathematics for students to be college ready, and it's a wonderful course and does great work. But to be an engineering major, you have to be calculus ready, which is 2 steps above college algebra. You know, so these students are high achievers. They work hard. We saw 75% of them persisted from the fall term into the spring term. Excited about the progress. We're going to continue to work hard to increase the size of this cohort. It is a dual enrolled program, so they're enrolled with the college as well as the university at the same time. So kudos to Dr. Escamilla and the team for leading this. The college hosted our 25th annual Special Interest Group in Information Technology Education Conference. It was focused on the intersection of technology and ethics. I know in today's society, and I'll talk about hacking and things of that nature, we need to make sure that we educate our students on the good uses of technology and ensuring that they utilize that. I want to thank Dr. Servin and Nadia Karachev for leading this effort. Wonderful event that they continue to move forward with. The hackathon that I mentioned earlier, this was the third one. It was Hack the Border 3.0. It's a bi-national hackathon. Again, it was held at this campus. It was organized by Dr. Servin and Ms. Karachev in computer science and ITS. Over 100 participants from El Paso, from Ciudad Juarez, from Las Cruces. They focused on this. And so again, teaching our students how to utilize skills for the right reasons, for the right purposes. We'll continue to move forward with that. I want to thank Dr. Smith and Vice President Flores working collaboratively together to identify resources within the budget to be able to provide equipment needs for our programs. And so fire technology, they were able to get a new fire pumper. This is incredibly important. These are some of our first responders, but they were able to do that and be able to continue to have state-of-the-art technology so that when they finish and graduate and they move into the field, that they're very aware of how to use the equipment that's available to them. I'm going to touch a bit on several of our selective programs. So we are an open admissions institution. I'm very proud to be open admissions. We have high expectations for the success of our students, but we do have a number of selective programs, primarily in nursing and allied health. And I want to speak to those simply because of the results that we're seeing, based on the great work of our faculty and the commitment and dedication of the students in these respective programs. The physical therapy assistant students had a 100% pass rate in their certification exams. In 24, they had a mean score that was 7 points above the national average. I want to thank our faculty for ensuring that our students are successful. This one's really important to me as someone who's had dental issues in the past. Our dental hygiene discipline is continuing to do great things. In 24, they had a 92% success rate, exceeding the national average standard deviation in 10 different subject areas. They had a 100% pass rate in the clinical exams. They also increased their class size by 50%. So to be able to maintain that kind of quality, that kind of rigor, while at the same time expanding your class size, phenomenal work. Can't thank our faculty and students enough. Our medical laboratory technology success, they had a 100% pass rate on the MLT National Certification Exam. This fall semester, graduates, they had a mean score of 630, which is 131 points higher than the national average. So again, incredible work that they continue to do, and cannot thank them enough. Thank you. The MITR Radiology Technology Program success, they also had a 100% pass rate. And I want to highlight that they've had a 100% pass rate 26 of the last 29 years. Again, incredible work that I should hit forward. Incredible work that our faculty continues to do. Our echocardiography program, 100% ultrasound physics exam pass rate. This is tremendous work as well. All 9 of those students now qualify for the adult echo registry exam, which is up to 60 days before graduating in the spring of 25. Again, we want to make sure and want to thank our faculty for the great work that they continue to do. When I was at the Rio Grande campus, we had our Surge Tech students that were actually in the audience. It was good to see them. But our surgical technology program, they've increased enrollment by 100% starting this spring. Again, we hear from the hospitals on a regular basis. Dr. Smith and his team, they tell us the kind of demand that they're having. We work to accommodate those demands, again, while maintaining the rigor and the quality of these respective programs. I want to thank Margaret Rodriguez, the technology program coordinator, for the great work that she does with our students. And then our associate degree in nursing program, we had the highest first-time pass rate in the region. So all of the public, all of the private institutions in our community, we had the highest pass rate. Again, the quality of our program is outstanding. We had on the National Council Licensure Examination, or the NCLEX, the first-time pass rate was 96% for our associate degree earners, and it was 97.5% for our certificate of completion of vocational nurses. We added 125 nurses to our community. I've shared with you all, I don't want C nurses working on me. I want A nurses working on me. I know all of you all want the same, and that's the level that we're producing. So certainly thrilled with that. Our vocational, as I indicated, they had a 97.5% pass rate, and they added 40 additional vocational nurses to our community. So we continue to meet the needs of our hospitals in our community. Again, Mr. Flores and Dr. Smith identified resources within the budget to be able to provide additional echocardiography equipment upgrades. You see that we were able to add a vascular ultrasound transducers, as well as high-fidelity cardiac ultrasound simulators. I know it sounds easy to pronounce those, but I've practiced a lot. But this is important that these students have access to the cutting-edge technology so that when they go into the field, they know how to use the equipment appropriately. The Interprofessional Simulation Education Center at EPCC's Rio Grande campus is in the process of provisional accreditation. I want to thank Mr. Tomas Soto as well as Sarah Alfala. And currently working with the health and nursing faculty. We expect provisional accreditation. It took place in March, and we are moving forward with those first 2 years. The Interprofessional Simulation Center, or the IPEC at EPCC, again, Rio Grande campus, a partnership with EPISD. We need to ensure that our districts understand, again, all of the incredible programs that we have at the college. And part of that is exposing them to the kind of equipment and the kind of programs that we have at the institution so that they're fully aware as they're making their choices for higher education. Dr. Smith and his team have done a tremendous job of taking advantage of True Grants. This is Texans reskilling and upskilling through education. We started this program back in 21, and we've received 3 grants totaling just short of $700,000. We want to make sure that we take advantage of every resource that the state has available. And so kudos to Dr. Smith and his team for taking advantage of those True Grants. I want to thank and congratulate Dr. Jafari once again. She was nominated and appointed to serve on the Student Success Advisory Work Group with the coordinating board. There she is with Commissioner Rosser, and we look forward to her contributions to this important committee. I want to thank and congratulate Dr. Sarah Martinez. She received the Buddy Davidson Grant Award. Again, it's for the establishment of apiaries and molecular research on campus that will benefit our students as well as our students in the sciences as well as our community. A grant just short of $64,000. This one's very exciting for me. Our culinary arts and related sciences, travel and tourism, hospitality operations are moving forward with winemaking and brewing implementation. Not as big of a wine drinker, but I do enjoy the brewing, and this is something that we've been working on for a long period of time. Want to thank Dr. Nickerson and his team for the great work that they've done in establishing these. I look forward, after 5, of course, to sampling what they have come up with. Look forward to it. Cannot thank our EPCC Fashion Technology program. They've done a great job helping students achieve great success, understand what they'll be up against when they go into the field. These are cutthroat fields, and so we've had a lot of alumni who have achieved great things. That alumni is willing to come back and provide opportunities and insight into the field to our current students. We've had folks that have gone on to Los Angeles Apparel, to Disney Plus, et cetera. So we want to make sure that our students have access to those individuals as well. You heard me talk about nursing. You've heard me talk about all of those allied health fields, as well as our fire tech program, law enforcement. So you think about the first responders in our community, we produce so many of those first responders in our community. And so certainly thrilled with the Law Enforcement Training Academy. They will be celebrating their 100th graduating class in July of this year. Want a special shout out to Mr. Bogle. He's celebrating 40 years with the institution. He did 20 years as a part-time instructor from 85 to 2005, and he's been the director for the last 20 years. And so kudos to them. Also also want to thank Dr. Smith and Mr. Flores for identifying resources again to look at renovation for these particular areas to ensure that they're up to speed and equipment, everything in there is at the best that we can possibly have it. Ms. Marufo and her team continue to do a great job with the Small Business Development Corporation. They had just short of 700 clients that they counseled, just short of 4,000 counseling hours, and they saw a capital infusion into our local economy of over $13.5 million. Again, these are community available services that we provide. Another one is Mr. Armendariz and his team at the Contract Opportunity Center. We had 163 businesses that were counseled, over 800 counseling hours, almost 1,250 jobs that were retained or created. And you see the award total, 354 awards, just short of $59 million of infusion into our local economy. Tremendous work. Dr. Smith and his team are going to continue to develop new programs as we see the demand for those respective programs. We're looking at demand both in the field as well as student demand. And we're looking at encouraging new program development for programs that are going to pay our students at least a living wage. And so we developed an AAS in music business, an AAS in audio engineering, and a level 2 certificate in music technology program. And so excited about this. We currently have 113 students that are enrolled in these respective programs. And we'll continue to develop those and move those forward. Initiatives, this is incredibly important. I don't see a lot of students in the audience, but for students, we want to ensure that you are incredibly involved with your civic responsibility, from my perspective, to vote. And so we have a Tejano poll worker grant. It's a 2-year, $49,000 grant awarded by the U.S. Election Assistance Commission. And it helps us, we're one of 14 national recipients of the Help America Vote College Program poll worker grants. So we want to make sure that we provide the information to our students so that they're educated voters and that they go out and again, from my perspective, utilize and move forward with their civic responsibility. I want to thank Dr. Mitchell and Mr. Dwyer for their great work on ensuring that we were able to reopen our Veterans Resource Centers. We had grand reopenings for those. On the 30th, we did one at Trans Mountain and one here at the Valle Verde campus. Our men and women in uniform serve us so well. We've had a long history with Fort Bliss in the military. We want to ensure that our soldiers feel comfortable as they exit the military, coming into our institution, and help them be successful. SSP, the Student Support Services Program, it's one of the TRIO programs. We're excited about the progress that they've made. We received this in December. You see the overall graduation rate, the transfer rates, and the persistence rates. These are tremendous programs that work. There's a lot of chatter at the federal level. I'm sure each of you is keeping up with what's happening at the federal level. I'm hopeful that these grants will survive. But again, I cannot thank our team for the great work that they do. Ms. Rodriguez and her team, we held the EPCC first annual Family Friendly Conference. Again, we're celebrating student parents' dedication to reach their goals, and we want to make sure that they feel comfortable on our campuses. It was a student-parent 2-day conference held at Northwest as well as Mission in February. We had almost 300 attendees and more than 20 agencies that were available. It's part of our Aspen Ascend initiative. The Aspen Institute provided a $75,000 grant so that we can move forward and continue to ensure that we're serving our students that are parents as well as we possibly can. Again, our colleagues are collaborating to increase that student persistence. We have a partnership with United Way that was initiated in February, again, to connect students, faculty, and staff with community services that are available to them. We have resiliency navigators that are available on each of the campuses 1 day a week. Want to make sure that everyone takes advantage of this as well. Ms. Lujan and her team continue to do a tremendous job with the first-year experience. This has been a long evolution of this particular program. We started it in 2009 with a vision of how we could make this a go. In 2016, we received an HSI, Hispanic Serving Institution Title V grant, and we were able to establish an early alert program. And this particular grant is the best illustration of how we are supposed to utilize grants. Grants are seed money. They allow you to move forward with an idea that we think will work to help our community, to help our student body, et cetera. And if it does work, well, the expectation is that you institutionalize as much as you can within the budget. Dr. Smith and his team have done a tremendous job of institutionalizing the First Year Experience program. You see that we opened the Northwest First Year Center in October of last year. And then you see the first one that we opened here at the Valle Verde campus in February of 2019. Again, tremendous job of moving that forward. Dr. Castillo-Attar and her team did a great job of EPCC's CARES grand opening. We want to make sure that we continue to move this forward. It was well represented by several of our community partners. We had that in February of this year. So again, want to make sure that our student body is aware of these great services that we have available to them. Oops. Let me go back. Again, Dr. Smith and his team do a tremendous job of capitalizing on House Bill 8. So House Bill 8 allowed us not only to be funded based on outcomes, things of that nature, but it also allowed us to be funded for non-credit and short-term credentials that in the past we'd never been funded for. We're only going to offer the credentials, again, that are in demand in our community and that are going to pay our students at least a living wage. I know I have colleagues that may be offering different kinds of programs. That's just not in my core and what we believe in. We're going to offer programs that ensure a living wage for our students and that are in demand. So we've developed a significant number of occupational skills awards. We have new certificate programs. We've done revised fields of studies. You see the program name changes as well. So again, this is us in an effort to serve our community, but also an effort to ensure that we're taking in full advantage of House Bill 8 and what the state has to offer. Our STEM Fuerte program, again, another HSI grant that we received. This is a $1.75 million grant. They continue to move forward with their pathway program. We had 250 students from biology, architecture, and engineering courses that have participated. I want to thank Dr. Jameson, the project director, as well as our co-PIs, Nora Cavalier and Clark Myers, for making this program a success. Certainly excited about that. Our architecture, art, math, and science division, we held our second STEAM open house. I really appreciate the A and the arts in the STEAM. It was held in February of this year. We had over 100 students that attended with their families. I want to thank Mr. Talamantes as well as the AAMS faculty and staff for ensuring that this program was a success. Let me take a pause to say, we're in the cafeteria. I remember coming to the cafeteria in my first year and providing state of the college as well as town halls. We don't use this as often as we used to because we have the Flexitorium in the AST building now because we've added facilities. The good news is it was booked, which is good. That means we're offering more and more. And this is still an adequate facility for us to come together and be able to provide an update of where we are. Mr. Paul Hatchkin, tremendous job. We do live in the desert. We want to make sure that we understand how valuable water is. Preparing researchers, extensionists, and educators for water sustainability, our pre-H2O program. We had 31 students that have participated in internships with 14 local organizations. Again, incredibly valuable for our community and for us to develop that understanding of how important a resource is and that we utilize it, make sure that we treat it with respect. Industries that have visited the Valle Verde students to discuss internship opportunities, the National Renewable Energy Labs came in November. Dr. Silviano Oviat, Mrs. Rivera Schon, Mr. Mendoza, and Daniel Bernal spoke to students about research projects. We also had the U.S. Department of Agriculture and A&M's Agra Life Extension come in on December, again, to provide insights and hopefully encourage students to take these opportunities. STEM, STEM continues to be incredibly important fields, but I'd also share that liberal arts and the humanities have also increased in the importance based on the development and expansion of artificial intelligence. But we understand that we need to ensure that children have access and they're exposed to STEM programs at an early age to develop that passion for the STEM field for them. And so I want to thank and congratulate the college on moving this forward. On February 18th, we held this at the Flexitorium. It was open to the public. Again, it was an opportunity to enhance the STEM awareness in our children early in their lives. Jesusita Ibarra, as well as Nora Cavalier led this, and certainly excited about that. The Mexican American Cultural Center, we have moved forward with this. I want to congratulate Ingrid Leiva, as well as Miguel Valenzuela for the great art that is being displayed in that for them. Certainly excited about that. Again, the talent that we have at the institution is amazing, and thrilled that we're sharing that talent with the community. Dean Daniel Guerra, formerly known as Chef Daniel Guerra, he's back in the kitchen, and I'm not happy that it's on April the 11th, Dean Guerra, because I'm going to be out of town. And so he's preparing a 5-course dinner of his design on April the 11th. We have 6 and 6:30 p.m. seating, but kudos to you. Look forward to whatever you're able to develop. I've heard rumor that there could be another event with a couple of our former chefs, so I'll make sure I'm in town for that one. I want to talk a little bit about Dr. Mo and her team and the great work that they continue to move forward with. The retiree network, we've had a lot. The college is 56 years old now. I'm very proud of the college, but we've had a lot of individuals that have come and dedicated part of their careers or all of their careers to the institution and have chosen to move forward in retirement. We want to make sure that they stay connected to the college. I give Dr. Graham full credit for nudging us to move forward with this. And so we had in October a Retire Network social at the Mission del Paso campus. We're going to have a retiree brunch in April as we celebrate Community College Month. And so we want to make sure that they stay connected. There's no better ambassador for the college than our former employees. Want to make sure that we keep them connected. I want to congratulate Mr. Heine, our marketing director, for graduating from the National Council for Marketing and Public Relations Leadership Academy. So kudos to Mr. Heine for that great work. Our marketing team continues to do great work. We partnered with the QEP, and we've more than doubled views on our EPCC news from about 40,000 to nearly 85,000. They've distributed an average of 2 news releases per day, and promoted more than 110 events. So marketing is not just advertising the college, they're advertising the incredible events that we hold on a regular basis. Mr. Elliott and his team and grants continue to do tremendous work. We have submitted 44 applications. We have nearly an 80% success rate. 36 grants that have been approved, totaling well over $6.2 million. And so really want to congratulate Mr. Elliott and his team for the great work that they continue to do. Dr. Gross and her team, additional great work that they move forward with. They have more than $87,000 with 28 community sponsors. They've received more than 750 scholarship applications for this coming academic year. And we see new contributions from $19,000 that Barbara Walker and Cisco provided to the institution, all the way to Dr. Yasmin Flores contributing $500. It all matters, and it all is important for our students. And so cannot thank Dr. Gross and her team for the great work. We have the oldest nursing program in this region. Our nursing program is now 50 years old, and we are going to celebrate that with a scholarship luncheon. That's going to be on the 7th of May from 11:30 to 1 at the Administrative Services Center to be able to raise scholarship for our nursing students. We have a tremendous Great program that has been fully accredited throughout its tenure. And so certainly excited about 50 years of providing, again, first responders to our community. Vice President Flores and his team continue to work diligently. We're in that phase right now where we're getting ready to start the budget process for next year. And so cannot thank him and his team for the great work that they do. For 28 years in a row, they have received the ACFR Award. The ACFR Award is a certificate of achievement. It's awarded for the Certificate of Achievement for Excellence in Financial Reporting. The latest one that was available was from 22-23. That was recognized by the board in January of this year. Want to thank Ms. Shaughnessy, Sylvia De Lucio for their assistance, as well as Daniel Rodriguez Alvarado, and then VP Flores and AVP Zuniga, who lead this effort. Again, 28 years in a row, I tell them no pressure, but with the expectation is 29 and then 30, et cetera. But that is tremendous effort, and cannot thank them enough for the great work. We had a successful external audit, and so this is Peña, Briones, and McDaniel. They presented to the board in January. Really important, and I've worked with the board long enough where, I don't want a question of, couldn't you have a finding? We don't want any findings on our external audits, and tremendous job by Mr. Flores and his team, Mr. Flores, AVP Zuniga, Associate Comptroller Anduñez, as well as Ms. Lopez. Financial aid is a part of this. We distribute well over 60, almost $70 million of Pell annually, in addition to the student loans. And we have to ensure, and this external audit ensures that every penny is expended appropriately. So kudos to all of them for the great work that they have done with that. We contracted with Weaver and Tidwell, an internal audit services. We wanted to move forward with some additional projects. The first one we asked them to look at was Senate Bill 17, passed in the 2023 legislative session. We have to ensure that we're in full compliance. For those of you who don't remember, Senate Bill 17 is affectionately known as the anti-DEI law in Texas. We have to ensure that we are in full compliance with it. And so they came in, they reviewed a tremendous amount of information. They found some areas on websites that we needed to correct. We have corrected those items, but we did this in preparation because the state auditor's office will come in and do an audit of the institution for the same area. So we wanted to make sure that we were up to speed on that. Again, Mr. Flores and AVP Zuniga did a tremendous job. Daniel Rodriguez Alvarado assisted, and so we're certainly excited about that. The 32nd annual staff development retreat, where, as I mentioned earlier, we're in a legislative session, so I was glad to wish them well as they went to Austin and I was able to stay home. That was March 20th through the 22nd, excuse me. Their theme was kicking your boot into gear. And so I asked them to make sure, and they went and visited the Capitol to make sure and pop in on our delegation, thank our delegation for the great work that they do on our behalf, but really important for them to get to Austin during a legislative session. So glad they were able to do that. I know Ms. Milena Field joined them, and so excited about that. Dr. Linda Brown continues to lead and do a tremendous job, and the committee of leading the Leadership Academy. Their theme for this year is time, our most valuable resource. Time goes by really fast, and so they have several different guest lecturers that are coming in to help with that topic, including Mayor Johnson, as well as the CEO for the YWCA. And so important that we do provide our faculty and staff with opportunities to have this, to be leaders in the future. We held our 16th annual literary fiesta. Reading is fundamental. We want to make sure that our community is aware of that. We had, as you see, Yasmin Ramirez, as well as Mr. Blevins. Always good to bring back again. Mr. Blevins, a retiree. He was able to be a part of this as well, and books are gems. So excited about that. Also excited that the Literary Fiesta was featured in the City magazine in the October issue of this past year. And Miss Yasmin Ramirez was featured for her silver medal at the International Latino Book Awards for her memoir, Andale Preta. And so again, the talent that we have at the institution is amazing. Want to make sure that we continue to get it out there so that people can see it. Sarela Aguilar does a tremendous job with our Sun City Portfolio Day. That was held in January of this year. It was the 6th year in a row. We had over 400 students that registered to attend, and we had 19 colleges and universities that partook in this. Again, for our students to have access to college faculty to be able to guide them as they continue to hone in on their skills as artists. Let me touch a bit on Mr. Fernandez and his team and what IT has continued to move forward at the institution. They're moving forward with their Windows operating system upgrade. The tech support team has completed about half of the Windows operating upgrade. They expect to complete that work by the end of the year. Again, important work that we need to ensure the security of our systems. Our dedicated servers, they're moving forward with that as well. They have successfully deployed dedicated servers for the Calibro system and the organization's database system. Again, ensuring the protection that we have the most up-to-date equipment and that we're protecting that equipment. In addition, I want to thank Mr. Fernandez and his team for providing more and more services online and virtually. The ID card portal will allow students and employees to access their ID cards online. Each of you knows so many of these different initiatives are now available online. We want to make sure that we're continuing to keep up with that. And kudos to Mr. Fernandez and his team for moving that forward. Our enterprise computing, I was talking to a couple of folks that were just at the national conference for the enterprise computing, or the administrative banner 8. They've done a lot of work on custom forms, on moving these forward. They converted 41 custom banner 8 forms to modern, user-friendly, web-based applications. These range from specialized admissions to the prep program, as well as online employee contracts. Again, tremendous effort to make sure that we continue to move this forward. And then finally, they've also worked diligently on our enterprise computing, our Power BI. I have Power BI on my iPad. It's one of the first things I look at daily, is just to see where we are, what the data looks like at the institution. They were able to pull the Pathways in Technology Early College High School students, or the PTech students, out so that we're able to track them separately from the early college high school students. And so we now have that ability to do that. This is the fastest growing segment at the institution, and we can keep up with their success rates via Power BI. They've also continued to work on our in-house productions from EPCC TV, everything from the arts at EPCC all the way to Biz Talks. You see Mature Living, Creative Thinkers, etc. So kudos to them for continuing and ensuring that these programs continue to move forward. Dr. Penley and her team doing great work in research, accreditation, and planning. This year is the end of our current strategic plan. We are getting ready to launch our new strategic plan that will go from the fall of 2025 into through 2029. We have a new vision statement as well as a new mission statement. You get an early look at those, and actually you helped develop those, so thank you all for doing that. They are excellent vision and mission statements. They are also compliant with SB 17, as you can see. But it's important for us to continue to move this work forward. So I cannot thank Dr. Pendy and her team for the great work that they do. My watch is telling me that I need to stand, and I am standing. So let me put my arm down so I get credit for standing. In addition, Dr. Penley and her team continue to lead the Pathways project. We have 4 pillars. We have entry, progress, completion, and career, whether that's going straight into the workforce or to transfer to university to continue your studies. We have co-leads for each of these areas. We have one who's an owner or works in that particular area, and then we have one from outside of that area. What we're trying to do is ensure that all of the college is aware of each of these different areas and is willing to participate. And so I want to thank them for that great work. So for instance, on entry, they're looking at customer service survey that was launched in April. It's launched this month. They're examining service experiences of all students with a focus on online and non-traditional students. All of these are an effort to get better. You see what progress is focused on as well. You also see what completion is focused on, the student drop data and qualitative responses. Again, we're focused on the communication needs of non-traditional students. We want to make sure that we're serving all of our students extremely well. Ms. Bell and her team continue to move forward with learning assessment, outcomes assessment, and we're looking at a wellness check for general education that will be completed this spring, and then entry student success initiatives that are being reviewed in spring. And so again, cannot thank them enough for the great work that they do. Want to touch a little bit on enrollment. So this is fall data. We saw, I'll remind everyone, it seems so long ago, but in the fall of 20, we had a significant hit to enrollment due to the pandemic. In the fall of 21, we saw another hit to enrollment, not quite as large, but in the fall of 22, we started to see it reverse. And we've seen, and we've worked really hard, all of us, led by Dr. Maya and his team, of ensuring that enrollment continues to come back. So we saw about a 1% gain in the fall of 22, a 2% gain in the fall of 23, about a 0.5% gain in the fall of 24. And let me share that this spring, we saw a 5% increase in enrollment this spring. So that to me is a really good sign. I'm hopeful that that will carry into summer and fall. But we're seeing not only career technical programs, we saw a significant increase in our academic transfer programs as well. So it's good to see that. I get a little nervous because community college enrollment traditionally has a direct relationship with the economy. And so if enrollment's starting to build back, I worry that the economy might be a little weak. But I will take the enrollment, so certainly excited about that. And we're also seeing our success rates get back to pre-pandemic levels. Persistence from fall to spring went from 77 to 78 to 81%. So great work by our faculty, our staff, everyone at the institution who continues to focus on this, incredibly important. It is a legislative session, so I want to provide some state and legislative updates to you all. The first is Dr. Wynn Rosser. Dr. Wynn Rosser is the new Commissioner of Higher Education, got appointed in late December, started officially in January. I'm sure I shared with you. I was asked to serve on the advisory committee, so Jay Hartzell, the former president of UT Austin, myself, and James Hallmark, the Vice Chancellor of Academic Affairs for the A&M system, we served with the chair of the coordinating board, the vice chair, and the secretary. We recruited, we did our best to recruit individuals to serve as commissioner or to consider serving as commissioner. I did reach out to Dr. Rosser. We have a long history. He knows our institution well. He's a deep thinker and was a long-time university administrator. He knows the college very well, and he knows community colleges very well. He was one of our commencement speakers back in, I think, 2014. Let me also provide Dr. Rosser a lot of kudos. This is a real calling for him. He took a 40% pay cut to serve as Commissioner of Higher Education. It's my expectation that my colleagues and I, as well as everyone, we help him be successful, and we're going to continue to move forward. But he has hit the ground running in a legislative session, and so he's doing a great job. I'm certainly excited about that. I'd remind you the themes that came out of House Bill 8 from the 2023 session were funding for outcomes, affordability for students, and investments in capacity. The key components of House Bill 8 were FAST, our financial aid for swift transfer, shared services, performance tier, which is 100% of our funding.
So 95% of the state's funding is performance tier, but for EPCC, it's 100% of our funding. Base tier is 5% for the 22 colleges that are small, that don't have significant tax bases. So that gets distributed to them. And then finally, the Community College Standing Advisory Committee. I'm the inaugural chair. I'll serve in that capacity until next year, and then they'll move forward with another chair. Our focus areas for this session were the supplemental appropriations request. So we have a dynamic system. So we get funded on projections. Here's how we think you're gonna do based on what you've done. And then we have a settle up process on actuals. Here's how well you did. Does the state owe you money? Do you owe the state money back? So the first thing was supplemental appropriations piece. So the colleges, the 50 colleges, we thought we were going to need an additional $38 to $40 million. Then our expectation got to about $48 million. When all of the outcomes for the 50 colleges came forward, were certified by the state owed us $89.5 million. And by us, the 50 colleges, not us individually. I wish. But we performed well. We performed well, and I asked Vice President Flores to let me know when that money was wired to the college, but we got about a $4 million wire to the college based on the actual outcomes that you all produced. So that was the first thing. We needed that supplemental appropriations request approved. Second thing is full funding for the next biennium. So the coordinating board, based on our outcomes, has projected that we will see the sector about a 5% increase in outcomes, which means an additional $140 million to the $2.2 billion that's distributed to the 50 community colleges. So that is moving forward. There's 2 companion bills that I'll touch on shortly that are moving that forward. And then again, you've heard me say this repeatedly, we needed to make sure that private institutions were part of this in Texas, that transfers to private institutions, Baylor for McLennan Community College, et cetera. So that is moving forward. We're continuing to work to scale workforce partnerships. That's incredibly important. Again, we're doing a great job of that. That's why our career technical education programs continue to increase. But we're also looking at skills development fund increases, as well as JET, our jobs and education for Texans increases, as well as TRUE, Texas reskilling and upskilling through education. State agency workforce credentials, we're continuing to look at those and ensuring that we're requiring the right credential to work in these. And we have a partnership with the state on that. And then we need to make sure that we have access to clinical rotations. There was a lot of private schools that were coming in, and they were offering to pay the hospitals for their clinical rotation sites. So there's legislation to mitigate that so that the public institutions, colleges and universities have access to those as well. I'm only going to talk about 3 bills. 2 are really good bills. House Bill 2110 and Senate Bill 1786. These are companion bills. These are the House Bill 8 cleanup bills. So they do good things, and they do some things that I've got to be very transparent about. So they clean up some of those, the private school transfers, all of those kinds of things. But they also, when we started this in the 23 session, we were looking at a 10-year window, and all of our credentials had a return on investment in those 10 years. Well, we're revising and we're continuing to work on this formula, and so now that's going to be 5 years for the associate's degrees. Do students see a return on investment within 5 years? And there's a complicated formula, looks at aid that students receive, but also looks at what high school diploma earners earn, statewide average. And the investment, or the program has to show that it is a if it's for me, I'm not available. But we have to show that these degree earners earn at least $30,000, which is the statewide average. So I'm going to share with you, we're going to see a number of associate degrees that are going to fall from funding. So about 16 zip codes, and they don't quite make it within that 5-year time frame. We're not going to stop offering those. We're going to work harder on a couple of things. We'll still receive credit if the student transfers. So we want to make sure that they transfer. And we're going to try to work as a sector to improve and get those students to finish faster. And so that's what we're going to work on with those areas. And it's a fluid system. So if next year all of a sudden we see that those areas are going less than 5 years, they'll come back to the funding mechanism. Now, I've also shared with Dr. Smith and his team that short-term credentials by 2027 session, we're going to have a time frame that will look at those short-term credentials to see if those are paying off for those students, whether they're level 1 certificates or OSAs and ICLCs. So that's the good bill. A bill of concern for me is Senate Bill 37. It has significant concern for me. It actually has significant concern for the board as well. What Senate Bill 37 what its goal is, it aims to shift power from faculty to governing boards. I can assure you, Dr. Burnham, that Judge Haggerty and his colleagues, they don't want that responsibility. This, from my perspective, is very much going from local control to controlling the locals. I have real concerns. It shifts a lot of responsibilities from our faculty senate to the governing board and to me. I don't want that responsibility. I don't want to say, Dr. Burnham, you're the chair of faculty senate. That's what the bill says, that I would have to pick the officers. That to me is not my responsibility. That to me is the faculty's responsibility. I can assure you, regardless of the outcome of Senate Bill 37, that Dr. Smith and I have a firm belief in shared governance. The board understands that belief in shared governance, and the college will continue to move forward in that fashion. We will comply with whatever law is passed, but we're hopeful that this gets mitigated. A little bit about the community college sector. We are once again the largest sector of higher education in the state of Texas. So we've recovered a lot. We're not quite to where we were in 19, but we've recovered a lot. Amongst the 50 community colleges, we're well over 700,000 students. We awarded, the latest data available, well over 125,000 degrees and certificates, and we provide 96% of all of the state's CTE credentials. So the Texas State Technical Colleges and the Lamars, they provide the state 4% of those credentials. So we need to make sure that our legislature understands us and that the role that we play in the state. So we've made sure that they understand that. Now, it wouldn't be appropriate if I didn't at least acknowledge some recognitions. So first, the Valle Verde campus specific, you see award winners. We have to get a picture of Oscar Alcantar, but he was the February 25 Employee of the Month. We had Jamie Wilson in November, Edmundo Montoya in December, and Robert Mejia in March. And so certainly thrilled with that. You heard me say this earlier. I cannot thank Dr. Escamilla for the great work that she did leading the Engineering Academy in partnership with UTEP. She is the President's Excellence Award winner and well-deserved. Laura Lee Ambris is a Faculty Excellence Award winner. She is the Minnie Stevens Piper Award winner. Dr. Carmen Castillo Attar is a counselor and professor at the Valle Verde campus as well as Northwest. She is an Outstanding Faculty Achievement Award winner, as is Ms. Chuka, right here from the Valle Verde campus, an Outstanding Faculty Award winner, so congratulations. Absolutely, yes, well deserved. Laura Erickson Alvarado is a speech professor. She's an Outstanding Faculty Award recipient from Mission Del Paso campus. Wendy Alvidres is a dental hygienist, a faculty member at the Rio Grande campus, so kudos to her. And then our outstanding adjunct, 2025 Adjunct Excellence Award winner, James Finquist, a government faculty member at Trans Mountain campus. And then finally, we have Edward Lawrence, an art faculty member at the Trans Mountain. So Certainly thrilled and excited for our faculty award winners. Something that Cabinet came to me with that we were able to move forward with the board unanimously supported was that our staff will receive the same award that our wonderful faculty receive, a small award to show the gratitude of the institution for our faculty as well as our staff. So our CSA and PSA Employees of the Year will also receive this. Those are Doug Shermer, who is an IT systems manager in IT. He's the full-time professional staff member of the year. Monica Tarin, part-time professional staff member, a graphics designer for marketing and community relations. Timothy Archat, he's a full-time classified staff member of the year, well-deserved, absolutely. And then finally, Margaret Torres, one of our staff members at the Mission del Paso campus. We were able to get the picture with them. That's Smith and I, Dr. Smith and I on the bookends. We just like to be in pictures. The award winners are between us. We will recognize them on May the 2nd, and certainly excited about that as well. One more announcement. We have EPCC night at the ballpark at Chihuahua Stadium. You notice I find ways not to say the name of the stadium. That'll be held on April the 26th. That'll be held on April the 26th. You can get there at like 6:45-ish because at 6:35, I played baseball a long time ago. We'll see if I can still get it to home plate without bouncing it. I'm sure I'm going to curse myself, so if I bounce it, everyone have mercy. So certainly excited about that. And so please, I'd ask everyone to join us if you can. I cannot thank you all enough for the great work that you do on a regular basis. Every single day you bring it, you do it for the right reasons, all on behalf of the students that we're privileged to serve and the community that we are a part of. So thank you for the great work. Really appreciate that. Belle, were you going to do your drawings now? Yeah. Thank you all so much. Belle.